Okay, welcome to the January 16th, 2024 regular meeting of the town of Neepawa. So we've all received our agenda. Be it resolved that we hereby approve the regular meeting agenda for January 16th, 2024. Moved by Councillor Kostanchuk, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, and you all received the minutes. Be it resolved that we hereby approve the minutes of the regular meeting held and the public meeting held December 19th, 2023 as circulated. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Sisley. Any questions from the minutes? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a couple minutes here. Can we have a short council report? Councillor Gerard.
On January 9th, the Finance Committee met and we started preliminary conversations on the 2024-2025 budget, and we saw the grant applications come in and that will start being reviewed. Short to the point.
Yeah. Too short. So short, I need one more short. Thanks. Thanks, Carol.
I've got a short one.
Okay, Councillor Nadeau.
Trusted you. Okay. So on January 9th also, the Neepawa Local Advisory Committee met, and we've been discussing some plans in order to start changing some of the hours at our library. In the near future, our plan is to start offering some Saturday programming, and then also to extend one of our evenings, such as a Thursday evening, something that we're trying to return to the library. And we've actually successfully hired, and they are working now, a new programming assistant, Kira McKay. She started here in January at the library, so we're looking to offer more and more new programs at our local library. And the other one on January 9th I'll report on is just the Spruce Plains Justice Committee is now meeting regularly, and it's a new format where we meet every month, so just letting everyone know that it's a regular meeting now.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Nadeau. Okay, we have a couple of delegations tonight, so I guess the first one I'll call on is Touchwood Park. Holly and Arlie, if you would like to come up forward.
And I just want to confirm it's not a conflict for me to be at the table for the presentation.
Not for the presentation, there'll be no decisions made.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Well, welcome.
Okay. Good evening. For those that don't know, my name is Helen Handcrafts. I am the Director of Services with Touchwood Park. I'd like to thank Mayor Headley and the Council for inviting us here tonight to present our wheelchair accessible playground project that will provide inclusive space for the whole community to enjoy. Touchwood Park has partnered with Parkworks, a Canadian park equipment company, working with the regional sales manager of Winnipeg to come up with this design. This location it'll be next to our day program building at 445 Commerce, utilizing the existing playground space already owned by Touchwood. Touchwood Park has requested a consideration for $25,000 through the community grant program to be allocated to this project. I'd like to take some time to just go through a few points of play features for this project. So first off, we have the large inclusive play structure. This structure is a 3 foot from ground to top level, is a 3 foot height. The entire area is wheelchair accessible. Every platform has several points of game boards and with mazes and match games steering wheels, gears, providing a point parallel play and interactive gameplay. And there's also a wheelchair bouncer. A couple things to note. Typically someone in a wheelchair is always looking up at their loved ones, their family, their friends, services. This provides an opportunity that they're not looking up. They're up with everyone. They're up high with their friends, enjoying the game just like everyone else. The slide is a double slide, so providing again a parallel play with a friend or support worker could slide at the same time. This picture gives a better show of the wheelchair bouncer on the right-hand side. The entire wheelchair goes into that frame, and other children can be on there as well, and then it provides the up and down motion. In the bottom left corner, you'll see the leaf hideaway structure. The green leaf is slightly raised, so there is room for someone in a wheelchair to roll right underneath. That does provide a sensory space, provides space of calmness, but again also is a hiding factor in hide and seek and such like that with your peers. There is also the climbing and sitting element of the structure as well. Then we have a swing set and a wheelchair swing. So the top right of the screen, there is the infant swing. There's 2 belt swings. There's an inclusive swing seat. If that's the large gray one you see there, it does have a weight capacity of 550 pounds. So an adult can easily fit in there. Then next to that structure, there is the independent wheelchair swing, which has the person stays in the wheelchair to use it. So there's a ramp that gets them onto the platform, and then there are stops that come up in front of the chair and behind, securing the chair and the person. Again, an element of parallel play with their peers and providing the back and forth movement. Then we have the Scylla teeter-totters. They're the 2 yellow structures at the bottom of the screen. They are secured on large springs. They're not a traditional teeter-totter. They have a bucket seat design, which is created deep enough that it is secure when you're moving and you won't fall out. The middle, in amongst those bars structure, has room for people or other children to stand and be part of that or sit in there. And again, it encourages parallel play. We will have a visual communication board with visual cues and text below. One side will be English and one side will be Tagalog. And this is something that can be used for everyone to communicate needs and wants. Then the surface features. So this is an overview of the design. The entire place is pour-in-place rubber. So it does have, we're able to do a racetrack design around the outside, so that is your game of play, racing around. It's just attractive to children. There is a roll down edge on all sides promoting to the grass, so promoting a safe exit or entry. It's not a harsh edge that will cause obstructions. And the pour-in-place rubber makes it very easy to maneuver the space. Wheelchairs, strollers, wagons, not having to deal with sand or gravel. There are also colored circles. You'll notice the green and the beige. So those ones are there purposely for a couple of reasons. So a couple of things is, one reason is that it draws someone's attention to that space. It tells them that something is happening there and that they might want to go check it out. The other side of that is it's also a safety feature, because it also signals to somebody that there's something going on there, so be careful. The circles are big enough to encompass the swing in terms of space of how much it takes, so they are big enough for that as well. So it just is a signal on a dual purpose of come join us, but also be careful. The lifespan of the pour and play under high use, such as the circles, is about 10 to 15 years. So the circle part of it is having a color is easier to replace, as it's just a shape to replace, and you can choose whatever color you want. You're not having to match a faded black and noticing that it's been maintained or upgraded. The total cost for this project is estimated at $325,000, with an anticipated installation date of summer of 2024. The project will need volunteers to succeed: excavation, base prep, equipment installation, donation of sub-base gravel, and as well as we're going to need a sidewalk installed from the street to provide multiple access points. It is accessible off the grass, but again, using a sidewalk with a stroller or a wheelchair is much easier than the grass. To date, Tetra Park has raised $103,000 towards this project through successful grants, annual golf tournament, community walk challenge, smile cookie campaign, as well as had several donations from community members. We plan to continue to apply for grants to assist with this project, along with other fundraising efforts such as a 50-50 draw, walk challenge, and the annual golf tournament. Tetra Park Accessible Playground will provide an inclusive space for all to enjoy regardless of ability. People from every walk of life can utilize this space. Maybe it's a grandchild and a grandparent with a wagon, a young family with a child in a stroller, or individuals with disabilities using mobility aids. There is something for everyone in this space to join in on, to be accepted as everyone else at the playground and not feel limited by the environment around them. Tetra Park is very thankful for the community's support towards the agency over the last 60 years of operation and is very excited to have this opportunity to give back to the community. Does anyone have any questions?
How does it work in winter?
It just needs to be, you have to shovel it off. You can't use any machinery to snow removal. The wheelchair swing will have to be locked in terms of the ramp and snow accumulation, but everything else would be accessible.
It's very exciting to see.
Is it still the plan to move it further back off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this design is off the building, the current building, but we are planning to pull it off the building such, again, kind of more centered towards the street so that it's inviting for all, and then it can be used during the day when we're operating the day program and our parking lot is busy. People can access it from the street.
And the main entrance will be off the,
Tupper. Yeah.
And, there'll be parking there.
Yeah.
Off the Tupper Street. So there'll be a sidewalk from there.
And what did you call it? All like pour?
It's pour in place rubber.
I've never heard of that.
That'd be good. Well, they do high school tracks with it.
Oh, okay.
It's recycled rubber. So it'd be kind of good for all our trails.
You weren't at the budget meeting.
I guess not.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah. And that is something too, we've had feedback from the school, is they're looking for a space like this to use with the life skills class, to use like this too. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming up.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
Thank you for the time.
All the way up there. So that this was the best thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mrs. Annie LeBuke lived across the street and she looked out for her kids.
Yeah.
Go over there and play. And
Yeah.
like little chickens running around.
Yeah.
She was great.
Okay, we'll continue on here. Our next presentation is Arts Forward, and I would ask Mr. Ron Nordstrom to come forward.
You need a technician to help you out there, Ron?
I might. Let's see what happens. Fix it up. I did bring a backup plan. See something happening.
Did you
Still
choose
searching.
source yet?
Looks good.
Well, it's the same cable, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Sorry, Plan B. After Plan B, I am tapped out.
You can USB it to one of ours, and
What's that?
you can USB the presentation onto our laptop if you need to.
Are you serious? Is that possible? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Or email it to the.
Let's just try this out. There's no reason for it not to work.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you again for letting Arts Board come out again this year to make a presentation to you. This first slide. This is some of our artists in our community. I think our community is becoming known as becoming known for the arts. Take a look around, and it's not all because of Arts Forward. Take a look at the benches that are painted around town, and a lot more businesses want more benches painted. Take a look at the toy store, Hidden Hollow, just how it's painted. I mean, not that Arts Forward did that, but artists in that picture did that. So we have some very good artists in our communities, and I think our community is becoming more of an arts community. So, have you seen us lately? New staff. We have Heidi Nugent is now on our staff, and of course, I think you're all familiar with her. She worked at the office here for a while. New board members, some younger, more vibrant outlook there, some younger board members. We have a growth in membership and a growth in programming. Our programming is constantly increasing, and it's become the place to be in Neepawa for activities. So we've got lots of things going on. Here's some of the things that we think it is. It's a community hub. It's a community and regional hub for art and culture. And it's important, like all ages, all abilities, all financial backgrounds. And that part is, for us, is really important. It's important that you can still take place even if you don't have the dollars to. So we look for dollars for programming so that people can take advantage of some of the programming that we offer. And of course, it's a great venue for events, social gatherings, recreational activities, and et cetera there. So one of our important things is building partnerships between businesses in the community, nonprofit organizations, and the surrounding RMs and regions. So what's happening in Arts Forward? There is so much happening. Just check out our Facebook page, check out our website, and you'll see stuff like this constantly. There's so many things going on in Arts Forward. We couldn't possibly describe it. Our Facebook page is probably the best place to check out to see what goes on in Arts Forward. We have programming for all ages. We've got from toddlers to seniors. We've got Mom's Morning Out. In case you don't know what that program is, it's an opportunity for moms to bring their toddler, drop them off with some caregivers in one room, and while they're doing some sort of activity in another room, it could be an arts and craft activity, it could be a physical activity, they're doing something. Seniors Morning Out is a similar thing, only you're not dropping off toddlers. Seniors come out and they're doing something. And it could be, again, a physical activity, it could be a craft, it could be a seminar on, fraud, internet fraud or something like that. There's just different activities. Things for seniors like chair Pilates, like that's what you're seeing in the picture there, although those are not Neepawa residents. Art classes for seniors, yoga, Zumba, martial arts, all of those kinds of things. We have programming for all ages. We have 6 areas of focus. One of them is affordability. I've sort of touched on that already. The way we make it affordable for people is partnerships. That's one of the ways. Take a look at the partnerships in this picture right here. If you recognize that front-end loader, that's the town's front-end loader. Partnering with the town there. The Men's Shed has created those planters for us, and that's where we have our field to table club. That's where they grow produce out there. So partnerships is one of the ways we make it affordable. Sponsors, we get businesses around the community to help cover some of the costs. Certainly grants are huge. Grants are the main way that we make our programs affordable. And of course, we also have personal donations. What kind of partnerships do we have? Well, these kind of partnerships. We have tons of partnerships. Our second focus is on mental health and wellness, and some of the programs that we offer so that people can go out and socialize in a fun atmosphere. Again, Mom's Morning Out, Seniors Morning Out, but any one of these activities, we've got lots of workout programs like Zumba, step, circuitry, fun fitness, martial arts for adults and for kids. So that whole idea of mental health as well as physical health. Art in a social setting. You can sit alone in your room and do art. That's probably not that great for you and mentally after we've come through COVID here. Certainly getting together in a social setting is one of the things that we try and do at Arts Forward. Third focus is on youth. We've got so many different youth programs, and again, it's different partnerships. There's just a list of a few things that we have, but tons of different things. Kids in the Kitchen is a very popular program. At Field to Table Club, we've got Glenn McPhee coming out teaching kids how to grow food, and then of course the Kids in the Kitchen, how to harvest that food and make it into something delicious and nutritious. Now, I believe part of it this year was also traveling out to farmers. Some of the farmers that partnered with us, the kids had a chance to go out there and see how crops are grown. And so we did have a little bit of that. So not just on site with the Field to Table Club, but get out, take a look at a farm in a field and learn how the whole process, that field to table kind of thing. Some of the kids doing some of their activities. The next focus is on community. Things like Farmers Market, Indigenous Culture Day we have, Raft, which that's a live art experience. And I think that we've had it now for 2 years. You probably know a little bit about what Raft is. We've had Indigenous Culture Day. I think it's the third year, I believe, that we've had it. Is that correct? Yeah. And of course, we're inclusive. We have art classes for Touchwood there. We have the American Sign Language translator, a special needs assistant available when required. Just so you know, in case you've forgotten, that Raft is Riverbend Market, Arts Forward, with which we have a farmer's market and a live art experience on that particular day. Of course, Farmery is the F in Raft, and Tourism Neepawa. Indigenous Culture Day. We were the only rural community to hold a National Day for Truth and Reconciliation event this year. And we had the Premier come down and check that out. So the Premier's on attendance this year. And we had, I don't know, like 1,200, 1,400 students or people, possibly more. There's a huge, like kids came and went all day, so pretty good experience. And again, we didn't get rained out, so pretty lucky, 3rd year in a row. Fifth focus on efficiency. And we've done, this is a couple of years now that this has been running, that community events calendar, and originally partnered with Neepawa Tourism to bring it to fruition. And is it being used? Well, this is January that I took a couple of days ago, and I know that there's more events in there now. So yeah, it is being used. Is it being used as much as we hoped it would be? No, but it is being used, and hopefully more and more groups take advantage of that and put their events in here. Our sixth focus is a focus on fiscal responsibility. Just take a look at the last couple of years. 2002, our income was huge. Why? COVID. We got lots of COVID grants, and so we actually had profit that year, almost $9,000. This year, take a look at our income. Our income was huge. Why? Because grants. We had $102,000 worth of grants this year that we applied for and got. And we spent $209,000, so we're in the hole $10,000. But you know what? We're really happy about that. And the next slide will explain why we're so happy. But before I get there, take a look at 2024. So you can see that our anticipated income and expenses are quite a bit lower than 2023. And again, I think the next slide will probably explain that. But we're looking at somewhere around a balanced budget for this year. So why did we spend so much money last year? We had $102,000 worth of grants, but when you apply for a grant, it does not cover 100% of your costs. And so we had to, of course, dig into our own savings to cover some of the things that we've done. But look at what we've done. Kitchen renovation. If you've renovated your kitchen at home, you know how expensive those are. So we renovated the kitchen. We've got complete new, well, it's painted, new flooring, new cabinets. Yeah, it's, what's that? New appliances, yeah, that's right. And we've added, like we had one stove before, we've added another stove in there. We have a wheelchair accessible counter, that's right. Of course, Yvonne was all about this. The other things we've done is, the huge things is roof repair and replacement. There's part of the roof is shingle. That was done this summer. It was the shingled part was completely reshingled. The metal part, many of the bolts were starting to come out, and the washers were suspect. And so we had every one of the washers removed and replaced with bolts. All the bolts removed and replaced this summer as well. So again, that was a huge cost. We thought we'd have to get a new furnace, but we just repaired it this year. We didn't have the money to replace it. Some of the other things we've done is flood damage renovation from the flooding that happened a while back now. We've had a lot of renovations to do. We've got new flooring in the back stairs, basement hallway, the basement washroom flooring is new, the basement toilet has been replaced. Storage rooms downstairs have been painted. A sump pit and pump were installed, so hopefully we never have that flooding again. We've increased our gallery lighting and we've replaced our computers. So when you take a look at what we've done and only dug into our pockets $10,000, we're pretty happy about that. So we've done a lot. Our biggest challenge: continue to find grants, secure on existing programs, and expand programming. Because again, we're trying to make this and keep this affordable. We're trying to keep our rent affordable. We're trying to keep our programming affordable. And so we can't do that by charging what we would need to charge in order to break even. So we need grants, and grants are our largest source of income. The arts does rely on grants, $102,000 approximately last year. This year, we're looking at grants. We're hoping, this is our plan, right? We're hoping for about $62,000 worth of grants. And why less? Well, some of the grants that we previously applied for are no longer available. So we're always looking for new grant avenues, but this is what we found so far. Some of our capital projects for this year, and you can see that the list is shorter than last year's capital projects, but certainly replace the flooring in the front entrance, boutique, the office, that whole area there. Flooring in the upstairs hallway right now is kind of dangerous. It shifts on you. It's we call this a vinyl plank, and it shifts when you step on it. So we need to replace that. And I've got furnace replacement as a question mark because it was recommended last year that we would replace the furnace. We couldn't afford it, so someday when we can afford it, we have to replace that furnace, but probably repairs will be needed anyways. We're planning an Indigenous Culture Day again as a special event. So those are some of our big things, and of course programming is always one of our big costs. So our big ask this year is $20,000 to assist with programming, capital projects, and our special event, Indigenous Culture Day. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah. Men's night. I didn't see it.
I know. I think there needs to be a demand. So, there has to be a request, like what's going on? There's no ladies' night.
And,
men have to say, this is what we want.
Learning how to write songs by Murray.
By Murray. Actually, if just so that everybody knows, if there's a particular class or a workshop that you'd like to see at Arts Forward, basically you contact our administrator, and what they do is they take the ideas and they put feelers out. You know, hey, there's a course we can offer. We have Murray Parrott as an instructor who would like to take this course, and if we get people to sign up, that's it. The course is offered. I mean, it's that simple. If people are looking for anything particular, ask the administrator. We'll put some feelers out. We'll get a course.
A good chunk of those programs, that's how they all started.
Yeah.
Somebody came forward with an idea.
I think it runs really well.
We miss Yvonne.
What about the big screen that's supposed to be hanging from the ceiling?
Yeah, we need a carpenter, contractor with some muscle and a good back to put that up. We've been waiting
1 out of
there for quite a while. Pardon me?
1 out of 3.
Yeah, and you know, and that's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that we've been contacting so many different local contractors and asking them to, you know, can you come in, give us a quote, and get this thing put up? It's a small job, and it seems like nobody wants to do it. It's very frustrating.
2 ladders, 4 guys.
It's the same as this, what you're saying.
It's different from that. It's bigger. Yeah.
But the screen's been there. It was purchased on a grant,
Yeah.
and it has been there since August. And they have been trying to find somebody who will install it.
We finally had somebody agree to do it as soon as the weather got cold, and the weather's been cold for a while, and they still haven't come. So, yeah, that has been a little bit of a frustration for us. Yeah.
I know.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Ron. Very good presentation.
Just so you know, we have had a lot of good comments about the Indigenous Culture Day as well through our provincial contacts.
Mhm.
It's good that happens.
They even had Balder there.
What's that?
You had students from Balder, Manitoba.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome to see the Hutterite colonies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come and attend. That was awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll continue on with some more council reports.
Okay, on January 10th, we had the Public Works meeting, Councilor Sisley and myself and our town staff. And we were presented with a variety of projects and capital needs, which we discussed. And had our staff prioritize for the Finance Committee, who will then get to play with it. Congratulations to Jennifer Kilborn, who is the residency administrator for our residency program that will be coming to Neepawa. So we'll be training doctors here, essentially is what that means. And Councillor Pottinger's on our medical clinic committee, and she's tasked with getting the lounge area ready for that program. And it should be known that there's a lot of effort to maintain our medical facilities in the town of Neepawa to make it a go-to place. We have 6 locum doctors who work out of Neepawa. We have 4 doctor leads that are telling us they're wanting to come to Neepawa. We have 3 visiting surgeons who are always welcomed. We have 3 visiting specialists, and we have 3 recruitment leads on the go right now. And with all of this, the clinic committee has provided the facility to welcome doctors without having a very high overhead. There's suites provided for the residency students as well as for locum doctors. And there's committees that host the rural week where students come out and spend time in a rural area. There's a lot of things that go on. Everywhere I go, I'm trying to convince all the staff, no matter where I am in Manitoba or Canada, you know, you gotta try out Neepawa. We built a regional fire hall, and it's great to have in the town of Neepawa. It's another asset where it provides safety, etc. We built a regional RCMP detachment. Now we have no problem getting people in the RCMP wanting to come to Neepawa because we built a facility that they already want to be in. And we have housing projects going on all over to provide welcome housing opportunities for anybody coming to Neepawa. And why I started this, I don't know, but it feels good to brag. That's my report anyway.
Okay. All right, any other Councilor Sisler?
We had handyman meeting actually today at lunch. Ridership for November we had 516 rides, and December actually was up a little bit from that. We had 527 rides in December. There is an upcoming casino trip on January 22nd. Ticket price is $25. That $25 includes $15 free play and your choice of one of 3 entrees. So basically they are paying you to go on the trip. If you would like a seat on the bus, just call Michelle at hand to reserve your spot. The number is 204-476-2009. Something else that was discussed at our meeting today is the handy van will be the March Legion Supper fundraiser. So that'll be March 15th. So we're just kind of getting all the details together for that. This year's Winter Festival, I know I touched base on this last meeting, but I just want to kind of touch on it again. It is going to be a night festival at the Flats, Sunday, February 19th. There will be new activities this year that will include glow-in-the-dark adventure trail and fireworks. I'm pretty excited about this. I think it's going to be a pretty fun night. There is a 50-50 or 50-50 tickets for sale for your chance to win some money, but also be helping be part of this year's festival, as the proceeds will be going into this community event for it. So tickets are $5 or 3 for $10. The draw date will be February 1st. Tickets are available at the town office or from any of the councillors or staff. Councillor Parrott touched on our Public Works meeting, and I also attended the Spruce Plains Justice Committee and somehow was nominated to be the committee secretary. So yeah, that's my report.
Thanks, Yvonne. Okay, no other reports. So I'll ask Manager of Operations, Denise.
Hey, Mayor. So I'd like to mention that we've been deep into budget, so I've been working on that and starting to create a presentation for council. As council mentioned, we had an infrastructure meeting, and just prior to that, we also had a liaison meeting with Manager of Infrastructure. We invited them over, just kind of go over some of our future projects, either with the 24 or 25, or just multi-year projects, just to ensure that they're aware of them, that they have no concerns, and that way we can just kind of expedite some of the current process, as I've already been briefed on them. Snow, we've had a lot of it. It's finally becoming more manageable right now. We still again ask the public to be patient and respectful to staff when they're out there working. We do our best to clear the streets off, and we are out there again continually cleaning off gutter lines and any snow piles that are still remaining around. Staff have also been going around clearing the back lane sidewalks, and anywhere where there's parked cars that kind of impeded snow clearing, they're trying to clear out those zones now that the cars have been moved. So like I said, the slow process, but the streets overall look pretty good, and now we're getting into sanding so that we can kind of get rid of that icy, slippery stuff we don't like. Unfortunately, we've had some water treatment plant issues over at the Oberon well site. Our PLC's been damaged, so we're currently looking at repairs for that one. We don't have any price estimates, but I think we're hoping that as early as this week, we may see some repairs functioning there. So that Oberon well site is down right now, and all our focus would be on Harveston. So we're just kind of lucky it's that time of year where we're not using as much water. There's also, as Council Perry, we also have our training centers open. Everything seems to be going well. No real concerns there. We've had a few minor plumbing issues, but we're trying to resolve those out as to why we're seeing some issues. And so it's either some ongoing issues with the old infrastructure, but we'll get that resolved in time. And we have the 2 other big projects. So we've got our contractor Swift Underground has been starting the water project that will do the loop towards the hospital. So they've been working on that project. Started some drilling. They're working in the Hillcrest area today. So that project is ongoing. Unfortunately, we just had some cold weather to deal with. Rob Smith and Son was awarded the second contract. We have not seen any action there yet because they're still just in the signing the contract stage and probably procuring some of the materials required for it. But the more concerning one is staff time being spent on sewer mains again. Like it's surfacing again as a major problem with grease disposal. As late as today, we were out with a main that was completely plugged. Again, these affect your neighbors down the street, so whenever your negligence and complete ignorance dumping stuff that shouldn't go down the drains or your sewer, it causes a lot of damage. We'll have to start discussing some fines or something, and we have to go to a firmer process, and whether those fines are $500, $1,000, we need something to get people to pocketbook because they are damaging infrastructure. They're flooding homes now. We're looking at a truck that's in our budget coming up that's almost $600,000 just so we have rapid response on this.
Is it possible to do a video scope of a personal sewer drain into the main?
So that is the thought I have. So we'll say that this street is the suspecting street. We may be issuing $1,000 fines to each of you. Your appeal process will be to allow us to go in there and televise your personal sewer line going towards the main. If 3 of the 4 of you are obviously clear with no remnants of grease completely plugging the sewer, your $1,000 fine is obviously null and void. But Colleen is a suspect, her fine sticks.
As always.
So I think we have to look at some major measures here.
Sorry, it was Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, one of the things I think everybody should understand is grease is also called cooking oil, right?
Yes.
So
Residue in a pan.
So
anything that's not water.
we are seeing old infrastructure plugs. We are seeing brand new infrastructure. Pipes on the CN site that are 2 years old are already plugging on us. So, and we're not talking 100 houses doing this. This is 2 or 3 that are dumping enough volume of grease down to plug a sewer main that's 8 inches in diameter.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of grease.
That's a lot of grease.
So we'll be discussing this at a committee level and try to come up with some ideas. But that's all the good news I have.
Okay, thank you, Denise. All right, let's move on to correspondence. RCMP quarterly report, Colleen.
So this is for the period October 1st to December 31st, 2023. For basically the detachment, 87 charges were issued and 4 physical check stops set up in the Spruce Plains area. 100 roadside breath samples were taken at various check stops, and 1 driver was charged with impaired driving, while 1 received an immediate roadside prohibition. Looking at offender management files, they had 7 offender management files open. 53 curfew checks were performed on those subjects, and as a result of the checks, 1 subject was breaching conditions and a warrant was issued. The subject was located, arrested, and has been held in custody. Crime prevention, continued focus on anti-fraud messaging, and more recently we've been working with local gas stations on discussions on ways to reduce crime, and we will continue to do so in this quarter of 2024. Specific to Neepawa only, 20 traffic tickets have been written, and of course there's been a noted increase in fraud and scam type calls in the area. On October 6th, the Neepawa RCMP had a report of a stolen SUV from the town, and several days later, a 25-year-old male from Minnedosa was arrested with a stolen vehicle in Edmonton, Alberta, and is now facing charges. On the evening of November 4th, RCMP responded to a fire at a building in town. The fire was determined to be a result of arson. It was investigated, and 2 male youths were identified and arrested. The matter was referred to Restorative Justice Committee, and I think they've dealt with that. There's currently 1 vacant position in Spruce Plains area. The corporal position in Minnedosa is that position. An individual has been selected and will be moving in March of 2024 to take up that position. And they've recently had one municipal position, detachment service assistant clerk, that was removed from the municipal component of the sector and relocated over into the provincial sector. It will be situated as a term position while they work out how to fill that, which will be adjusting some numbers in our area. This was a particular issue we brought forth several years ago where we have 4 municipal representatives on the RCMP side of the detachment where they had 6. We actually had 2 municipal clerks over there also serving in the capacity to do the provincial work. So as a result of consistent and constant and regular discussions with the RCMP for as long as I've been here, we finally been able to get that rectified and get the position moved over to the provincial side. And of course, then they filled the .6 public servant position in the Minnedosa office starting in the spring of 2024. Any questions?
No, forest grants.
Dutch elm disease and urban forest management, the 2024-25 community forest grant agreements. So every year there's information sent out regarding the program and about managing your urban forest canopy, and we get a community grant, a community forest grant agreement that comes to us. The agreement that we currently have is automatically renewing, but will be ending on March 31st, 2024. So before we get our new grant agreement that will come into effect on April 1st, 2024, they're sharing some information that will be changing. The new agreement will involve increases to the tree removal reimbursement rates and the minimum financial support level, as well as changes to the tree removal and reporting deadlines. So the new rates will be $226 for every tree marked that is a size of 10 to 30 centimeters, $452 for trees between 31 and 79 centimeters in diameter, and $678 for every tree that is 80 centimeters or greater. So the minimum annual funding per community will be now $2,380 regardless of the number of trees that have been marked. It has been shown that removing infected elm trees early slows the spread of Dutch elm disease and continue to promote the rapid removal of infected elm trees in managed communities. The tree removal deadline has been changed to February 28th, better reflecting seasonal and biological timelines that impact the spread of Dutch elm disease. Manitoba will continue to work cooperatively with any community that requires additional time to complete the removals up until April 1st.
Is that a granting amount to offset the cost of removing?
It doesn't,
Like, is that what it's designed to do?
technically yes, but it doesn't quite often cover because especially if you're an older community and you've got trees that are massive, it can be very costly to take trees down. So unless Denise wants to speak to this, we try to manage a lot of the smaller trees ourselves and.
These prices are completely reasonable for a boulevard tree. What complicates is if we have to go into a backyard and you have to handball every single little piece out, because if you're talking a large diameter tree and you can't get equipment in it, there's fences up or there's building structures. That's what becomes very tedious and expensive. Likewise, if it's in the middle of the park in the back bush where they do that same thing, we either burn it on site or we have to carry every branch out. So it becomes those tedious.
Okay, Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
This is just a letter from the department, Honorable Tracy Smith, letting us know that for the recycling rebate that's approved for the town of Neepawa for January 1st to June 30th, 2023 intake as part of the Waste Reduction and Recycling Support Program is at $14,113.65.
Excellent.
Next is Stars Ambulance, Stars Air Ambulance. We generally, maybe not every year, but we quite often get information from them looking for support for their organization, and they're hoping that Neepawa would consider some per capita funding or any funding towards their organization. And I guess what's interesting in here, if you look at Neepawa specifically, I think we had we had 10 Stars Air Ambulance lifts out of Neepawa in the last fiscal year that they had. The next one is from Beautiful Plains Community Medical Clinic Committee. I won't read this through because Deputy Mayor Parrott actually touched on all of the things and the recruitment initiatives and whatnot they're doing in Galway, so I would just be reading it. But just the front cover page talks about their appreciation for the $2,500 that they received from the town of Neepawa that goes into the recruitment committee bank to help them defer some of those costs that they incur in the recruitment process. So we're very appreciative that we continue to provide that. Then we have Westlake Employment Skills and Service Center. This is, I won't read you through the whole thing either. They're very appreciative of the work that goes on there, the support that they receive out of the council from the various communities, and of course the town of Neepawa. They're basically looking for an appointment again to the board, and we have Councillor Nadeau that sits on that board, and he's got the chair. And they aren't requesting any funding at this point in time, but certainly I would say, unless you wants to add something to that, looking for an appointment again to the board. So.
It's just to have every municipality be there because it is a regional, we keep talking about this regional idea, it really is. So Westlake helps support our whole region with employment and services, and just the reappointment of our current appointees could work too. Yeah.
Western Manitoba Regional Library Board, this is the letter that tells us what our levy will actually be for 2024. Councillor Nadeau actually shared that with us in previous meeting, but officially the letter says based on a population of 5,685, the levy for 2024 will be $74,758, and that's $13.15 per capita. That's it for correspondence.
Okay, thanks, Colleen. We'll move over to finance. You'll each have had your December statements to review, so be it resolved that we approve the accounts from December 2023 totaling $4,169,296.83 as reviewed and representing checks 2023 02422 to 2023 02633, but excluding 2023 02506. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Gerard. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I'm going to remove myself from this next item.
Okay, Councillor Gerard is removing himself for conflict. So be it resolved that we approve check 2023-02506 for December 2023 to Home Hardware totaling $576.22. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, tax sale, Colleen.
This is an annual resolution. I'm asking you to designate November 6th, 2024 at 2 p.m. in the council chambers here as the date that we will sell properties outstanding on tax sale. And of course, we will have tax service be the organization that will manage our tax sale.
Any questions? Okay, the motion reads, be it resolved that we hereby designate 2023 as the year which properties in arrears will be offered for sale by way of public auction, and be it further resolved that the tax sale be held November 6th at 6/2024 at 2 p.m. in the council chambers of the town of Neepawa at 275 Hamilton Street, Manitoba, with tax service appointed to manage the tax sale and conduct the proceedings on behalf of the town. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I guess we have unfinished business, PTH 16 speed change.
So in 2014, the town submitted an application to have a speed zone from basically the High Life corner to the 80-kilometer sign east of Neepawa, also reduced to 80 kilometers. We were denied that request and resubmitted in 2020. So this is now 24. The result of that application is Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure engaged an external service provider to complete the review. The review considered the geometric features of the roadway, the environment surrounding the roadway, operating speeds, traffic volumes, and the reported collision history. The review concluded that there were no technical reasons indicating a need to revise the current 100 km/h speed limit at this time. When the initial request for a change speed limit cannot be supported on its technical merits, the request is automatically reconsidered by an interdepartmental review committee. The IRC upheld the technical recommendation to leave the speed limit unchanged, however, directed that it be reviewed again once Neepawa's ongoing hospital and school developments are closer to completion. MTI acknowledges community concerns about road safety, especially where the new hospital and school access PTH 16. On that basis, we are committing to another review when those facilities are ready to open, and we'll update you as this review moves forward. And of course, they offer us the opportunity to discuss this further with the department at our meetings.
Okay, any questions?
It's good that they're open to
Yeah,
reviewing it
just
again.
disappointing answer, but yeah, certainly be inviting them out again. Okay, new business, Colleen.
So the first item on your agenda is R3 Innovations, and this is the industrial wastewater treatment facility out at High Life. And just very quickly, to summarize it, boxes and boxes of paperwork in a file that lasts forever. The town of Neepawa and Spring and Lambert entered into a joint venture agreement on April 14, 2009 for the co-ownership of the new industrial wastewater treatment facility known as R3 Innovations now. And at that time also to provide for the development, construction, and operation of that facility. This relationship evolving during this time period from Spring Hill to High Tech to now High Life. A further agreement dated September 1st, 2011 amended the facility operations and maintenance agreement to ensure that the relationship for maintenance and operations was outlined. So 2011 important to the fact that now R3 Innovations was completed and under the control and operations of High Life. As per the terms of the 2009 joint venture agreement, High Life was given the right to acquire the town's interest in the industrial wastewater treatment facility joint venture. If the acquisition occurred within the first 10 years of the agreement, High Life was obligated to repay that portion of the provincial and federal funding that was given to construct the industrial wastewater treatment facility for a value that remained outstanding as per a declining obligation over a 10-year period. So what that means is the grant funding that came forward on year one, it was reduced proportionately over a 10-year period till it got to zero. Should High Life successfully operate the facility for a period of 10 years plus, however, the agreement stipulated that the funding obligation to Manitoba and Canada would be satisfied, and they could, High Life could exercise this option to acquire all rights of ownership to R3 Innovations by way of, I say simple conveyance to town, but it's really not that simple, but it is a requirement. High Life has now initiated a request as per the terms of the 2009 agreement to have the town's interest in R3 Innovations conveyed wholly to High Life. This request will also take into consideration the conventional system that predated the construction of R3 Innovations, which also now serves to assist with treatment operations at High Life. So the recommendation based on the signatures on the document in 2009 that in compliance with those terms of the joint venture agreement, it's the recommendation of administration that we proceed with the conveyance as outlined in that agreement. And that as part of doing so, any and all matters that need to be addressed for easements, licensing, continued infrastructure, whatever, be taken into consideration to successfully conclude the terms of the joint venture agreement and outline any future relationship we will have with High Life. And of course, we have to speak about a water supply. So we have met with High Life, we've talked about this. This is just now to formally proceed with the signatures on those documents. So I'm just going to back these all up to understand what High Life meant in 2009. $25.5 million was put in the pot to actually create High Life. Canada and Manitoba, each contributing, $5.9 million each for a total of $11.8 million. The town of Neepawa seen benefit in doing $1.5 million towards that project. So there was $13.3 million that came on board from municipal, provincial, and federal funding. High Life, on the other hand, had to match the 1.5 with Neepawa as a requirement, and then put additional monies in. So they actually provided 12.2 million to that. So that's why the partnership was roughly 50-50. So as per the agreement, the recommendation is that we proceed in concluding the terms of that agreement and move on with a relationship that will actually reflect where we're going in the future.
Okay, thanks, Colleen. Any questions? Okay, motion reads, whereas the town of Neepawa and High Life are parties to a joint venture agreement dated April 14, 2009, as amended and by an amended industrial wastewater treatment facility operations and maintenance agreement dated September 1st, 2011, collectively the joint venture agreement for the construction and operation of an ownership of an industrial wastewater treatment facility that services the operations of High Life. And whereas pursuant to the joint venture agreement, the ownership of the town of Neepawa and of High Life in the wastewater WWTF is held by R2 Innovations. And whereas pursuant to the joint venture agreement, after more than 10 years of successful operation, and whereupon High Life's requisition for full ownership, the town of Neepawa is now required to convey to High Life all of the town of Neepawa's interests in IWWF and R3 Innovations. Therefore, be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa hereby authorize the mayor and the CAO to do all things necessary to convey to High Life and all the town of Neepawa's legal and beneficial ownership in the IWWF and in R3 Innovations. Moved by Councillor Sisley, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Proposed sale to MTI.
So this next topic was born out of discussions we recently had with Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure. So I'm going to go back a bit. In 2004, a functional design was created for a 4-lane divided limited access facility to go through the town of Neepawa for improvements that would see meridians and whatnot, and improve safety and security for Neepawa. Every time a subdivision or some action takes place along P216 through Neepawa, the Department of Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure comments on those particular applications, and more specifically subdivisions or requiring just access points onto the highway, because they align everything that occurs with this functional design that was created in 2004. So back in, I think it was 2017 or 16, when we did our first subdivision for the industrial park out east of town here, we were required to make sure that when we did our subdivision, that we set aside the appropriate amount of land that fit precisely with adhering to the functional design that was created in 2004. Because as that goes forward and the province needs to acquire those lands, they want to make sure no development happens on those pieces of property so that they've secured them. What occurred though is we did actually set aside parcels 4 and 5 in our first phase of our industrial subdivision as subdivided parcels. But then we sat with ownership of those and have done ever since. So that means that we can't tax on them, we get no revenue from them. So in discussions with the department last week, as much as they cannot proceed with the functional design at this point in time, the recommendation was, because it is a lot of a lesser value than what it would be in capital to create the whole functional design, they would put forward into their queue recommendations up to their purchasing department so that they actually bought those pieces from us. I guess the bottom line is to use terms such as, they can't keep calling dibs on property along that whole length to create that functional design and then not be prepared to purchase it. Because this also affects private landowners, and when we go to do land use planning and look at subdivisions and actions that are taken in Neepawa along PTH 16, we recommend and give advice to everybody, and we're telling them what to do with their land, knowing that MTI is also going to put a stop on whatever they're planning to do and alter the course of their decisions. So she said, put forth the pieces of land we've already identified for this functional design east of Neepawa, and see if they will make that purchase and at least get them into their queue for the creation of this functional design at some point. Any questions? That's a lot of years to try and understand all this. So recommendation of administration is we get them to buy them, get a little bit of tax base on them.
Okay, motion reads, whereas in 2004, the province of Manitoba and the councils of the town of Neepawa, and then at that time, the rural municipality of Langford endorsed a long-range plan for the upgrading of PTH 16 through the town of Neepawa. Whereas PTH 16, Neepawa functional design continues to guide the development along PTH 16 through Neepawa to ensure minimal conflict between land development and highway. And whereas although the functional design was long-range planning document to ensure the proposed design could be achieved as opportunities arose, the province committed to proceeding with property acquisition and service road construction preparation for completing the project. And whereas Neepawa's growth and development over the last 10 years has given rise to certain opportunities for the province to advance their interests in securing a greater percentage of the required property of PTH 16 improvements. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Neepawa requests the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure to consider moving forward with the purchase of various pieces of property adjacent to the PTH 16 that will be required to complete the PTH 16 improvements. Be further resolved that the town of Neepawa proposed to sell the province of Manitoba lots 4 and 5, Plan 59490 in Southeast 13, 14, 15, rolls 8930 and 8935. These parcels purposely subdivided as part of the subdivision 4437-14-7432 to facilitate the PTH 16 functional design. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott. Seconded by Councillor Klastenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Weed inspector calling.
Let's, to me, it's on saying we just have to annually appoint a weed inspector, so we're asking to appoint Scott Boxell for 2024.
Okay. Be it resolved that we appoint Scott Boxell as the town of Neepawa weed inspector for 2024. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
That was much shorter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Property sales.
So this is a potential property sale, if you're interested in approving this. It's from Neepawa Dry Cleaning and Laundromat, Brad Hackledge. He's looking at offering for the lot that is known as 417 First Avenue, or the old Fire Hall lot, at a purchase price of $100,000, and of course an equal split of legal fees associated with the transaction, and we could use this share together to reduce the cost. It would be subject to a development agreement. We have actually met with this particular individual, explained our process for purchasing property and the commitment that he would need to honor insofar as development. So we're recommending, if you so wish, to accept this offer subject to a development agreement.
Okay, any questions? Okay, motion reads, be it resolved that we approve the sale of lots 6 and 7, block 4, plan 26984, lot 21, block D, plan 1878, EX, S20F, and ORG lots 2225, is that 22-225?
Yeah.
Yeah, block D, plan 1878, in Southwest 13, 14, 15, roll 123-400 to Neepawa Dry Cleaning and Laundromat Limited for $100,000, subject to the terms of the development agreement and possession date of May 1st, 2024. Any questions? Moved by Councillor Sisley, seconded by Councillor Gerard. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Campground rates.
So the next few items is probably, it seems like we're already talking about camping with it being minus 45 or 50 below out there. And of course swimming pool rates, but we need to set these rates fairly early because the advertising will start to promote, that we have full capacity in summer. So the campground rates, the recommendation based on reviewing neighboring communities and whatnot, that we just increase across the board $2 per stay.
Okay, the motion is be it resolved, we approve the increase of $2 a night stay at Riverbend Campground effective for 2024 with new rates as follows. Full service $37, water electric $32, electric $27, and no services $22. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Klasenchuk. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 13, swimming pool.
Swimming pool as well, what we're recommending is basically a 25-cent increase on single admission rates and a $10 increase on seasonal passes. Just so you know, season passes include all programs, public swim, aquafit, lap swim, family swim. No longer offering the monthly laps, or offering lap swim and aquafit. We're finding that the numbers are extremely, extremely low, and we could accommodate them with season passes instead. Anyone coming to the pool during public swim basically must pay now. So what we've done is take a look at the categories and revamp the categories. And why this is important, and there might be a little pushback because of preschoolers and little ones. You actually spend more time monitoring, supervising the little people than you do others that start to know how to swim. And because everybody that enters the pool area is counted as a number towards your bathing load under the regulation for the province of Manitoba, those that are coming in that maybe you're just sitting there and having a coffee count towards reducing that bathing load, which means the people that want to pay can't get in yet. So in the review that was done by Nicole Cooper to justify where we're going with categories for these rates, she looked at various pools across West Bend, and this is actually how they function. If you're in the pool area, you're a number. You have to be supervised as well, because maybe you have a heart attack, or maybe, you leave your child. The point is, there's supervision for everybody now, and everybody pays. So there's a new category for children under the age of 2. They will be admitted free with a paid caregiver admission, but they still have to, have supervision and all of the things that come with that. So it's really about bathing load and responsibility, even if you're not swimming. So I don't know if there's any questions.
So your season pass does not cover just the public swim?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It covers
Season pass
everything
covers
now.
everything.
So it's gone up a little bit in
Yeah.
price, but now it's all encompassing.
Better deal.
It's a way better deal.
It is a way better deal.
But it allows us to free up those, for example, lap swim was very early in the morning, and because we always have a problem with the number of lifeguards we have, and you still, because some of the swimmers were saying, I know how to swim, you don't need to worry about me. No, because the pool is regulated as a public facility, there has to be a lifeguard there. So when we have to start adding lifeguards and extending the hours of the day, then we don't have enough coverage across the complement of the day and in the bulk of the patrons that actually come. So what we said was those people can still do laps and whatnot, buy the season pass, come whenever you want, and we'll try and figure out how to accommodate you best. And clearly they're not coming when there's 100 kids bouncing around the pool, but there are lots of open spots in the day. Lifeguards have actually confirmed that they see no reason why we can't accommodate everybody there.
And it also, in the conversation about this at our RED meeting, was that we don't have to have that extra staff at the tilt, because everybody for lap swim and all of that will have the season pass. So it takes away from that need of that extra body as well.
So if you get feedback that differs, we're going to see how it works out. It works out in many of the pools. I think I attached some different pool rates for you. So.
The bathing load makes complete sense because we've seen cases where we don't allow people into the pool area because we're at capacity, even though we're not swimmers at capacity, the deck is at capacity.
It's inclusive of the fence.
Yeah,
They can slip and fall just as easily
Yep,
as anybody
yep.
else.
so if you're sitting on the other side of the fence, fine, but yeah, it's.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks, Colleen. Motion reads, be it resolved that we approve the changes to the Neepawa swimming pool admission and rates as per attached schedule. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Updating policies, Colleen?
So we also reviewed various policies that relate to the recreation area and clearly pool. So policy RS-030, the changes that are going to occur to that one, this is in relation to the swim team. The rental rate is going to go from $50 an hour to $100 an hour, and this is basically, it's once again going back to the lifeguards. They're getting a pretty good deal for the amount of lifeguards that we're required to have in place at that time, and then you measure that again once you're losing from the public's ability to go there. And this falls in line with other areas as well within the province. Changing the additional staff as needed, their wages from $15 to $20 an hour if an additional staff is needed that particular day for swim team. Changing the swim meet rentals from $150 a day to $100 an hour. So that $100 an hour in item 3 matches up with what we're proposing in item 1. Because a whole swim meet takes away a whole day of swimming for the public in any manner. Policy RS-015, pool passes and programs. We're proposing that swim passes, you allow access to all programs, and we just talked about that. We're now allowed to get a season pass, you're covered for everything. Updating the pass categories to include a preschool pass for patrons aged 2 to 4, a student pass for ages 5 to 18, an adult pass for ages 19 to 55, a senior pass for 55 plus, and of course the family pass. Looking at your immediately family unit only, but it does not include your grandparents, for example, limited to a maximum of 2 adults and 5 children with no exceptions. And of course, within the policy that we are not changing because it already exists, is the fact that say you're a family of 7 or 9 or whatever, and you add an extra 10 or I think it's $10 for each additional member that's coming. So we accommodate that as well. A punch part, you can get 10 swims for the price of 8. We're going to remove the pool rental information because we actually don't offer public rentals anymore. They were very limited and infrequent and then taking up a large amount of our day where we were losing money again. RS-020 regarding facility rules. Children under the age of 2 will be admitted free. We've changed that from the age of 4 because lots of 3 and 4-year-olds are starting to get into the programming there. And of course, all patrons entering the facility must pay admission rates included in the ratios because it reduces our bathing load whether you're swimming or not. Our refund policy, we took a look at this. We're having a lot of problems with people, whether they have slow internet access or whatever the case may be at home on their computers, registering 2 or 3 times into the same thing. So blocking out all of those sessions. Other people go to register and can't get in, and then they come and say, I'm registered 3 times, I need to get it backed out. So, you know, we were charging $5 because the system that we use now charges an administration fee, which is pretty much $5. So we're not even keeping that, we're just sending it back to the company. So we're moving that to $10 because there's much more administrative expenses than $5 when people are maybe not, you know, taking the time, being patient, doing this properly, because then they come in here and now they're getting our staff to help back everything out. And then there's people in the queue that couldn't get registered. It's causing a lot of problems. So we're hoping that people will be a little more attentive to when they register and how to do it. This has been 4 or 5 years now we've run this particular system.
And just to be careful of knowing what levels that they're registering into.
And that too, because when we changed from the different, I can't remember, it was Red Cross to whatever the different ones were, people were confused and they believed that, you know, in the one system you go from a 3, I should go to a 3 over in the other, in the Life Saving Society one. And it wasn't that case, because might be only 5 levels offered in this particular system and 10 in this system. Well, you have to figure out where you fit now. So then we had upset patrons as well with their kids were failing or weren't being able to do so, you know, you're trying to get them all organized and into the right classes, and we're hopefully getting there, but there's been a lot of hurdles and glitches. So those are the amendments.
Okay, so the motion reads, be it resolved that we approve the updates to the following pool policies and refund policies. RS 015, RS 020, RS 030, and FI 030. Moved by Councilor Sisley, seconded by Councilor Gerard. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any other business? Seeing none, be it resolved that we do adjourn the regular meeting at Town Council at 8:21 p.m. Moved by Councilor Kostenchuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.